me jump. Um,
Hi friends, as part of Halloween, the spooky season, I'm going to try and read 3 kind of more Halloween-esque books. One of those is Paper Girls. I'm actually, started reading the second book in a series that I read, The Last Magician. I'm reading the second one of that. But I only have been listening to that on my phone and I only have the ebook. So I'm feeling very desperate right now and I want to read an actual book. And I don't think this will take me that long. So we shall see. I started it at 11:45 in the afternoon. So we'll see what time I finish. This is my first ever graphic novel. So I'm very excited to see how I feel about it. But I'll keep you posted. I'm only a few pages into Paper Girls, and I love the profanity, don't get me wrong, but she actually just called someone a faggot and an AIDS patient. Oh dear. I love the images though, like look at this. It's very Halloween-y. And very Stranger Things, I love it. I do like that these 12-year-olds are saying things like, hello dickweeds. It's just giving me serious Stranger Things vibes. I mean, they're doing a paper run, so it's not exactly the same, but they're on bikes, it's the 80s. Love that they're all girls though. Apple? Is it actually like Apple infiltrating the 80s? I don't understand. I think this is very pretty. Like, look at that. Gorgeous. Oh, she got a gun. Watch out. Oh, we've switched perspectives. It looks like we're now in the monster's perspective. I did not see that coming. Although the monster speaks, I'm not sure what type of language it is. It's not English, I know that much. Oof. I think he just got killed. He seems to be collecting all the electronics. Maybe, I don't know. Apple's gonna take over the world in the 80s. I don't know. I really, one minute I like this girl and the next minute I'm like, oh, I like this line. The adult already blew this popsicle stand, new kid. But then she says, so you can hide out and wait for those Frankensteins to break in and rape your face. But I'm going to find a way to defend myself. Like, I get what she's saying, but like, fucking hell. So far I'm enjoying it, but it's stuff like that. Like, I get it's a different time and stuff, but like, very, like, I'm a vulgar person. I swear I love it. 2 strikes so far. There's so much happening in this little graphic novel. I'm about halfway through. Overall, I'm enjoying it. It's just like, yeah, we've had the perspective of the monster, we've had these 2 teenagers and some random space guy on the dinosaur. We shall see how it goes. I like this part. One of the girls' lives just flashed before our eyes and it was beautiful, like the pictures. Like, I'll show you. Gorgeous. afterwards she was like, it's like the chicken from Chicken Run where it's like, me life flashed before my eyes. It's bloody boring. She was like, I didn't even think I liked that game, but I now realize I basically wasted my entire existence on it. Relatable girl. Relatable. So I just finished Paper Girls. I definitely will read more graphic novels. I quite like this, and it literally didn't even take me, what time did it literally took me an hour to read it. I think I started at 11:45 and now it's 1:45. it was good, like, with the Halloween vibes. It had, like, you know, people actually dressed up for Halloween and it had monsters. It was more sci-fi, I would say, than supernatural. And the ending, without spoiling it, does make me want to read the next one. But I think I'd probably give it a 3. I liked it, but I didn't love it. You know, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my god, it was amazing. It's just a good in the middle one. Hey friends, it is super late and I look like absolute trash. It's 1:45 on a Friday night. I was chatting to a friend of mine. We were doing a read along for a trilogy, but we weren't really feeling the second book, so we've decided to binge that, which is good for me because I've been dying to pick up this for the book club, and it's one of my spooky reads for October. It's not that long compared to what we were trying to read. It is only 359 pages, including like the title pages and everything. So I'm really excited. It's really out of my normal realm. It's something I've ever read before. If you don't know, sorry, just to circle back, the book club I have is Bad Witches Read with my friend Steph. I'll link our YouTube and our Instagram down below. And this is our first one back because I kind of had a 2-year break from the book community, so I'm back now. And yeah, I'm really intrigued. I would never normally go for this. This is one of Steph's picks, and we did a spinny wheel. And this is what it landed on. So basically, I have like a small synopsis. A young woman living in rigid puritanical society discovers dark powers within herself in this stunning feminist fantasy debut. Her mother's union with an outsider of a different race casts her once proud family into disgrace. So Emmanuelle does her best to worship the father for the holy protocol and lead a life of submission, devotion, and absolute conformity, like all the other women in the settlement. So basically I think it's about learning about herself. She finds her mother's diary from these witches and how her mother like consorted with them, and she learns the truth about like the church she follows and the town she lives in, and she, like, if she wants to change it begins with her. So I'm really excited. I'm definitely a feminist, of course. So I've never heard anything described as a feminist fantasy, and I'm really intrigued. So let's see. I'm reading it on the Kindle that I got from my friend for a Christmas present. So yeah, I'm gonna try. I mean, it is almost 1 a.m. I'm gonna try and maybe read till 2 a.m. and see if I can get at least 100 pages in and smash it out over the weekend for my mum, to whom I owe everything. Oh, the beast. Oh, the woman in the woods, the witch, the beast. I think it's gonna be quite gritty. I mean, that first part, just part 1. I mean, not part 1, like the epilogue or whatever. Quite gritty. I think it's going to be less scary than I imagined it to be, but I'll keep you guys posted. This is a really bad angle, but I'm just literally like in the first chapter. And I love on the Kindle that you can like change the settings so it's easy to read at night. But like, it is so, like, it is so intense. It's just quite gory already. And it's just giving me serious Silence of the Lambs vibes. She's talking about this lamb that they slaughtered. And she wasn't present, but she could hear it screaming. She wanted to stop the lambs from screaming. I don't know. Like, it's not that bad. I don't mind gore, but like, we're literally in the first page of the first chapter and it's like fucking lamb's brains. Oh! Anyway. My goal, it is now 1:15. My goal is to get 50 pages in at the very least. More if I'm liking it, so we'll see how we go. It's 2:23. I'm a bit sleepy, so I'm gonna go to bed. But so far I'm liking it. I'm up to chapter 3. It's written quite interestingly, like I like the style. the main character's got a bit of sass. It's quite gritty, the way it talks about things, but I think the time it's set in, that's not really a surprise. Doesn't say in the synopsis, but it's meant to be. I think it's set like way back when. It's quite interesting how stories of race and segregation don't change in some ways. Like this book, I think I'm kind of picturing it in like the fucking 1800s, but she talks about how the outsiders of her town are all dark skinned with ebony hair. It's a lot more religious than I thought it was going to be. I know that the synopsis does talk about like the prophets and all that, but it is quite religious. And like they say in the book that the dark skinned people with ebony hair, that their ebony skin, you know, is a reflection of like their connection to the devil. So it's just like, you know, it's sad that was happening then and is still happening now. It's also quite sad in that same regard that like she talks about her friend who's like blonde hair, fair skin, how she's depicted in their prophecies, in their scriptures. You know, she like sees her friend, you know, in those things, in stories, etc., whereas people like her are not. I think that's still a really prominent issue going on. So I found that quite interesting so far already. And she's just mentioned, you know, that she's not like most people who look like her. She's from the town and she's accepted. But a lot of the people who do look like her are, you know, ignored, and they're on the outskirts, and they're, you know, no matter what they do, they're still not, you know, looked on as the same as the rest of them. So yeah, so far already a lot to think about, and we're only at chapter 3, so I'm excited to see where it goes. There is a male character that's come into it. I don't think it'll be a romance. I think it's going to be a friendship. Don't get me wrong, I'm never against a romance. But yeah, I'll be surprised if there's a romance. Just from the vibe of the book that I got. Although that character, Ezra, he has surprised me already. So maybe he's going to help her, you know, in her discovery. We shall see. Yeah, intrigued. I didn't quite make it to the 50 pages, but I literally can't keep my eyes open, so I'd rather enjoy it tomorrow more. And I'll keep you updated. Hey, it's Saturday night. It is 7:10. I had planned to read all day today, but as they do, my plans changed. I ended up having a nice day with my housemates, playing some games, Monopoly Deal, and then heads up, just having a little snack. But yeah, now I'm gonna read. Shit's gotten really real in The Year of the Witching, and we're only on chapter 4. It's definitely gotten much scarier. My husband actually just scared the crap out of me. I just read the part where like she sees the 2 women in the woods who like seem to be like making out from what I see, but like they're in an exorcism kind of make out. And now they're just gonna come up to her and talk to her. So yeah, they have like no eyes, though it says. Their irises were dead white, the colour of some bleached bone. No pupils, no irises, and yet somehow their gaze were fixed on Emmanuel. After I read that, I walked out of my house making it whack. And that's great. But anyway, let's see how we go. Oh, also I got a cover for my Kindle tablet thing. It is an odd love between the father and the mother, between the light and the darkness. Neither can exist without the other, and yet they can never be one. Interesting. I love that the sheep? Is it a sheep? I'm not quite sure. Ram's name is Judith. One of you will betray me tonight. Is it me, Jesus? No. Is it me, Jesus? No, I'll do this. Is it me, Jesus? Is it me, Jesus? She's getting really messed up in these words. God. But it wasn't all of Judas, just his head, severed bleeding, perched atop a nearby tree stump. Oh dear, guys, I just watched this show. It's fucking Gogglebox, but you know how sometimes I watch sad shit and you like see parts of the show? It was just really sad. I got a bit sidetracked because I had dinner and I watched something. I watched Gogglebox while I had dinner, and so I watched another episode. So it's now 10:30. I'm on chapter 7. I'm 65 pages in. I want to try. It's 355 pages. Sorry, 359 pages long. So I'm hoping no matter what time I go to sleep, I can get up to 150. So I'm gonna do my nightly face wash and brush my teeth and stuff soon. But I'm gonna try and get up to at least 100 before then. So far it's really good. It's very religious, which I mean I'm a very anti-institution. I'm all about you do you, boo, you know. But myself personally, I'm not into religion, so it is quite religious, which I know is the whole point. Like one of the nursery rhymes is it's the first little verse, and then it's Jael and Mercy sing their songs to the moon and stars above, telling tales of mortal sin and their unholy love. I'm hoping she like overthrows it and lets them see that like sin isn't necessarily the worst thing, and I hope that Ezra helps her. But yeah, not a whole lot's happened in 65 pages, but it has been really interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna try and read a bit more now before I get myself winding down. Also, like the prophet in the story has like so many wives, and I know it's a very like old school thing to do, but it's just like ugh. I quite like. I didn't mention before. I quite like in the book that it's about the two friends, like Emmanuel and Leah, and how like one was becoming a woman and one wasn't. And now Emmanuel has just had her first. She's having her first period. She said she snatched a fist. She snatched a fistful of rags from the basket by the sink and struggled to fit them into her bloomers, feeling less like a woman and more like a toddler trying to change its own soiling clothes. Her bleed should have been a moment of celebration, relief against all odds. She was a woman at last. But all she felt was small and wounded, and a little sick. I mean, we have better sanitary products, of course, but the rest doesn't change, unfortunately. I think every time we all feel a bit wounded and small and sick, we'll hate it. I feel you, girl. Oh, I'm up to page 80. So we're getting there. Officials of the church really apologised on account of the fact that they really sinned. It's Sunday morning, actually. Oh, my Sunday afternoon. I did get up an hour earlier than I normally do, though. I'm almost finished my coffee. I plan to just read. Let's just say it's around that time of the month that I just want to chill and have a day to myself. So I'm just going to sit here in my pajamas, probably have a nap later, and read. But I reckon if I do nothing but read for the next few hours, I reckon I'll finish it, because I'm up to I am 100 pages in, so I've only got 259 pages to go.
question. Oh, I love that Ezra's mum is the only one that's nice to her.
She'd come to realise that fear wasn't a reasonable excuse to not it. She'd come to realise that fear wasn't a reasonable excuse not to do what needed to be done. I'm also kind of rooting for a romance. I know I said I wanted to be friendship, but I'm a sucker for a romance. I'm reading a part that's like the crack of the bullet breaking from the barrel split the darkness. Obviously that's not a bullet, I think it's fireworks, but spooky timing. The woman is a cunning creature, made in the likeness of her mother. She is at once the creator and the destroyer. She is kind until she is cruel, meek until she is merciless. I had some lunch, KFC, and now I'm still reading. I'm exactly 50% of the way through, and like some of the quotes in this book, I'm like, damn. Just because you want that to be true doesn't make it so. I know that you're afraid, I am too, but that doesn't give us the right to close our eyes and pretend what scares us doesn't exist. Relevant. I love this time of day. It looks really bright now, but it's just really nice when the light comes through the windows. I will miss this about London. These types of windows, the curves. We have obviously got windows in Australia, but my house isn't set like this. So nice and relaxing to sit and read. With the light coming through. Oh, what a great day. I don't think it's goodbye. It's kind of like goodbye between these two characters. And then they're like, but thank you for all of it. You were a friend to me when I sorely needed one, and I'll never forget it. I better not be the last of their story. I spoke before about how she, in her own town, is one of the only. I think she said she's the only dark-skinned person who isn't like a beggar, because the people who are from the outskirts are mainly dark-skinned, and she doesn't see any of, you know, anyone like her represented in their culture, and you know, she doesn't feel like she's like she just said, like, you know, her best friend is like, you know, idolized that look that she has, you know. And now I'm up to part 2, chapter 21, and she's finally seen people like her. She said, she's talking about the church of the outskirts. Its windows were set with stained glass portraits of strange dark-skinned saints that Emmanuel didn't know by name. She said in all her 16 years, Emmanuel had never seen any saints or effigies in her own likeness. None of the statues and paintings housed in the Prophet's Cathedral bore any resemblance to her. But when she looked at those saints immortalized in stained glass, a kind of aching familiarity settled over her, as if she'd forgotten she'd lost. If she'd forgotten she's lost was for, as if something she'd lost was finally being returned. I think for me, like, I spent this a few years ago when I read stuff like Love, Simon, when, you know, they were like, why do you assume? Why is the straight the assumption? Why is white the assumption? I was reading that book and I just automatically assumed one of the characters was white when really they weren't. They were black. And when they weren't, they were black. And I said to Steph, like, I, as a white person, you know, I'm not represented. Like, I'm unrepresented in most things I read and watch. So it totally opened my eyes that some people, like some, that some people aren't, you know? Like, even things like, I was saying, like, Friends. No, you know, there's no real character, there's no character in there, really, that's not mainly white. There may be small characters here and there, but no diversity. And, I didn't expect that from this book, I guess. I think I just really assumed it was going to be a super scary story. And don't get me wrong, it has its creepy aspects. But I'm really enjoying, like, the feminist themes and these types of themes where this point of view that I, have not really read from too many times before. So it's really nice that she's finally found that. And yeah, it's very interesting. I hope it all works out. I look absolutely atrocious, but one of the characters just died. It's always the nice ones. I knew it was going to happen. But, still so sad. I don't know, I think I know because it's a single book. I'm not, like, too attached to the characters. Like, I'm sad for this character that's died. But, yeah, I don't feel like I'm super, super invested. Maybe in, Emmanuel only. The rest of the characters, I don't know, I'll keep you posted. But I am sad for Emmanuel because her friend died. This book has some relevant shit. Like, it's set in the fucking, God knows when, 1800s. But it's just like, the themes about the character herself and how she feels in herself as a woman of colour. And then even, like, just in general, like, you'll see what I mean when I read this out. This was the great shame of Bethel. Complacency and complacency and complicity that were responsible for the deaths of generations of girls. It was the sickness that placed the pride of men before the innocence they were sworn to protect. It was a structure that exploited the weakest among them for the benefit of those born to power. Damn. Hopefully she's about to get real. I've got 129 pages to go. I just wanted to fuck everyone up and be like, bye, motherfuckers. Things are escalating in this book. Oh my god. Oh, he so loves her. Oh my god, he just, like, basically proposed, and I think she does, like, want to, but she's like, no, we can't just get married and fuck over everyone else. We have to try and help them. I hope in the end they do get married. Oh my god. Okay, it's decided Ezra's my favourite character. He's giving me such Noah Shaw vibes from Mara Dyer. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Emmanuel, but he's just so sweet. From now on, what we do together. Stop it. Alexis, you cruel mistress, gave us some hope of them getting free together, and then you crushed it like a twig, literally like 2 minutes later. Also, right, so basically the two characters are trying to escape this town, and these people are coming out behind them on horsemen firing at them. Somehow the guy thinks he's going to jump off the carriage and stand and shoot at them, and that's going to buy more time, which I guess would be true, but, like, also they're being surrounded. So, like, you're not really doing anything except keeping yourself behind and probably getting yourself killed. So stupid. Not impressed. I like this. I think her grandma in Ishmael is gay. Or they just share a bed. But she said, if the dust on the nightstand was any indication at all, the bedroom was rarely used. This struck Emmanuel as odd, given that it was the second of the two in the house. So it's only a 2-bedroom house, and apparently they live together. So, I mean, I assume he's sharing a bed, but I mean, I've shared beds with friends before. Not regularly, but, we shall see. Yeah, they are. They've been together for 11 years. Oh, that's cute. I think, like, yeah, I feel like this novel is all about I mean, it's much more religious than I thought. But I think it's partly about how, like, and I may be wrong, how, like, certain institutions and religions, certain things are deemed sinful and are punished quite strictly, whereas to other people, those same sins, like, you know, the same sex, love, and, you know, sex in general, and just, like, reading the wrong books and stuff, you know. Lots of stuff in this book in her hometown is like illegal because of their religion, whereas, like, I feel like the other side of her family was much more woke, I guess, or, like, more modern in the sense of, like, they, you know, still is a moral life, but they weren't tied down to, like, those restrictions. I feel like they're more modern, like how we live now. Like, I'm not religious. I don't believe in religion, and, like, don't get me wrong, you believe what you want to believe, and I respect everyone's beliefs, but for me personally, like, you know, I would be bloody burnt at the stake if I was in this book, because I've sinned a lot, I guess you could say. So, yeah, I think her side, other side of the family, her dad's side of the family, is much more accepting, and I think, like, the mum's side was somewhat accepting, but because of where they lived and stuff, they couldn't. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I can't wait to discuss with Steph at the Bad Witches Read Book Club chat. If we've already done it, I'll link it below. And if we haven't, we should have a date by the time I post this vlog, so I will put it somewhere here or link it below too. Good people don't bow their heads and bite their tongues while other good people suffer. Good people are not complicit. Damn. I love this. Are you hurt? No. Ezra. Alright. I might have had a brief encounter with a bull or two, but I'm fine. What about you? I just finished. I'm just gonna have to sleep on it, I think. I don't know when I'm gonna rate it yet. I really liked it. But yeah, I don't know, part of me felt like, not that it was predictable, because don't get me wrong, there were some parts where I was really shocked that one thing was going to happen and then another thing happened, but I don't know, it's like, for me, it's like A Court of Wings and Ruin, you know, for 3 books you build up to this really horrible dictator or this really bad guy, right, and then in the last book, the battle, like, spoilers, the battle goes on for like 5 minutes, you know, and then it's over. Like, this battle, I feel like, went on for longer. It definitely didn't end like, oh, we live happily ever after. But I just, yeah, towards the second half of the book, I think I kind of had a feeling what was going to happen. I don't know. I guess, like, I really liked the 2 main characters, Emmanuel and Ezra, but the rest, I didn't really get that sad after when certain people died. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I just think, yeah, it was quite a, like, I find with these books where they're a bit mysterious and you're not really sure what's going to happen. And I don't know, I found the beginning quite slow. And then it was like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's also almost 2:30 in the morning. Oh, God. Scary books making me jump. So I'm going to go to bed. And I'll think about it more in the morning and I'll report back in. I'm going to pick up my next spooky read. I was going to pick up, I'm thinking Stephen King, The Long Walk. I don't know if it's going to be a bit much for me after. Oh, what's happening here? It's because one of the books isn't sitting properly. Sorry. gonna pick up this one. It's 390 pages. I think I'll pick up that one. I was thinking of reading Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, because technically it's like a ghost story. But I think it's more like a love story. So maybe I might do that. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. I just know that like now's kind of the moment to read that Stephen King novel. I don't know that if I don't read it now, like Halloween, that I'll feel like it again. So I think it'll be that one. But anyway, I'm going to bed now. I'll see you guys in the morning. Hey friends, I was away as you saw, so I forgot to update you about The Year of the Witching. I had a good think about it when I finished it, and I've decided I'm going to rate it 3.5 out of 5. I really liked it. It was a bit slow for me in some parts, but overall I enjoyed it much more than I thought. But yeah, I just didn't like the ending very much. And I just felt like for me, it just built up and built up, and then it was just over really quick. So yeah, it doesn't deserve just a 3, but it also doesn't deserve a 4 in my opinion. So it's getting a 3.5. As I said, we're going to discuss it for the Bad Witches read. Link that below. I've started a little bit of The Long Walk. So far so good. I think it's going to be fairly easy to read. It's pretty big lettering. So far it seems pretty interesting. I don't know where it's going to go. So far I think if people, you have to walk and you have 3 strikes and then you're out. I don't know if people get killed when they're out of it or you just don't win. I think you get killed. But it's not been confirmed yet. But yeah, I'm 30 pages in. So we'll see how that goes. But it's so Halloween, like just the cover alone. But yeah, I'll go more in depth about the Year of the Witching in the discussion. I might do a review, but also in my wrap up. But I'll keep you posted on this. Okay, so it's confirmed. If you lose your 3 strikes, you get shot in the head. Some kid just got shot in the head. Like I knew it, but also like, fuck. Why the fuck would you want to go into this walk? Hell, I would not be on. Hi friends, so, grab my phone. Oh my god, why do I even exist? It is Sunday the 18th. I've had a really social week. I don't think I've updated a lot during this week. I don't think I've updated a lot during the week. I was out, I think, every day. I had a few friends who were going back to Australia. And I had a lot of stuff. I always like start the week like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a quiet week. And then because I have all this time now that I'm not working, I tend to just fill it up, which I really don't want to do this week because I have to get my life in order to go back to Australia. And also I just want to get some reading in. I was going to try and finish this or like make a decent dent in The Long Walk yesterday. But to be honest, I had a really bad anxiety day. I just felt really on edge, and I just, you know, when you're like, you get fixated on something and you know that it's irrational, but like you literally just can't. So I just watched some TV and had a nap and stuff yesterday. But I'm feeling much better today. So I really want to try if I can. I mean, it's 20 past 4 in the afternoon. I'd be really surprised if I finish this today. But on the other hand, I have no plans, so we'll see. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm 110 pages in, but I haven't really actually spent a lot of time just reading it. I've kind of just read it here and there. So I want to try and at least get like over 200 pages in today. It's only 391 pages. It's actually quite a lot. Yeah, I need to get over I need to get at least over 200 pages today, so I'm just under halfway. This is probably going to be one of my last spooky reads. I'm considering reading Carry On by Rainbow Rowell because it's kind of like a ghost love story. But in saying that, there's really only, what? I mean, there is 2 weeks left of October. So I reckon I might be able to. Although the next book I'm planning to read is Serpent and Up as a buddy read. Just to like have a bit of contemporary for my soul, because I mean, it's really not contemporary, but I guess it's more romance. And then I'm going to read Carry On. I think I'll power through those quite quickly though, because they're more my alley. Although I have really enjoyed kind of reading a bit more out of my comfort zone this month, so I'm definitely going to try and do that. Anyway, I'm going to dive straight in. I've got the house to myself, so I thought, why not just have a little reading time? Do an update on my thoughts. I am enjoying it. It's kind of annoying me though in a way, like I was saying to Steph, it's not like the Hunger Games where these people don't have a choice and they're just like fighting to stay alive. A lot of these people are only realizing now, basically, the story is like there's this long walk, clearly because it's called a long walk, and there's 100 people who go in it, and the last one standing or walking survives. Everyone else who doesn't make it, like, you get 3 warnings, and if you break the rules you get shot basically. And the last one standing, you know, gets everything they want, you know, all their wishes come true, whatever. A lot of them, they don't even have a reason for wanting to do it. Like, you'd think they'd have like sick family members or like kids or like, I don't know, some like reason why they'd want to put themselves through that. And like a lot of them are realizing now how fucking stupid they are, but that's the only thing that kind of annoys me. Like, I'm still reading because I want to know who's going to make it. But I think the reason the Hunger Games was so popular was obviously like the outrage that they didn't want that to happen and like they had no choice. Whereas it's kind of bothering me that they did, you know. Also, Stephen King, he's very sexual. There's a lot of sexual stuff considering they're just walking on a road for 100 miles. Like, some of it I get, but some of it I'm just like, is it really necessary? But anyway, I'm enjoying it. I'm thinking right now I'm halfway through. It's still feeling like a 3-starer. So we'll see if it gets better. Maybe I'll go up to a 4. Yeah. Oh, it's bedtime. I think it's like, it's 25 to 1. I'm literally at page 193. So I'm so close to 200. I'm too tired, so I'm going to bed. I ended up playing cards, Monopoly Deal. And Uno. We're just my housemates. So I didn't read for as long as I would have liked tonight, but I think it'll be a quieter week. I don't have as many social plans, which will be good, so hopefully I can get close to finishing this tomorrow. But I'm over that halfway point, you know how like sometimes there's more here than here, but now there's less here, so that's good. Anyway, we shall see if I finish tomorrow. Good night. page to 62. I've got just over 100 pages to go. It's 11:30, so I might just read. I'm gonna go like brush my teeth and brush my teeth and do my face routine for the night. And then I might try and read maybe for another hour. And then I'll probably go to bed and finish the last bit in the morning. Yeah, I just read the most gruesome, horrible part in this book. Some guy literally got, because like basically, as I said before, like they get 3 warnings, and if they get 3 warnings and they get shot at basically, and this guy like agitated the like guards of what they're doing, if you will, and they shot him in the gut, and then he had to keep walking with his intestines hanging out. It was honestly horrible. That's probably the most intense part so far. It was like like when I read it, most of it was okay, but there was some characters and some parts that made the book horror. You know, like to me that book wasn't scary, but there were parts that were horrific in the book. And that was kind of one of those moments for me in this long walk, because that's obviously awful. But yeah, they started off with 100 there, I think down to 50 something now. Well, less than 100 pages to go, so yeah. It's getting a bit better. I think a lot of them are like trying to figure out why they decided to do this and like see the truth of it all. I think it's trying. I don't know when it's set. To me, it's not set in like the real world. It sounds like it's in some sort of dystopian world where they're like, there's the dictator or whatever. But anyway, I keep reading. But yeah, I think if I don't, even if I get to like 300 tonight or like 350, I might just read the last 40 pages tomorrow, so I don't get to bed at like 2 a.m. But we'll see. It is about 1:05. I'm up to page 300. So I've only got 90 or so pages to go, so I'm just going to finish that tomorrow, so I can still go to bed like at a somewhat reasonable hour. It probably wouldn't take me that long to finish it, but I want to go to bed. Guys, it is 4:45. It is 4:45. I meant to already have finished this, but I forgot we had viewings today, and they're literally happening now. So I'm hoping I can get through the last 90 pages in the next hour. It is 3:44, so we'll see how we go. But I have to clean the house, and then I'm Skyping a friend that I promised I'd Skype with, so yeah. Anyway, I'm going to read now and knuckle down because I really want to start The Serpent and Dove. But see you, the last 91 pages go. Alexa, what's the time?
It's 6:17 p.m.
3 hours.
Hope your Tuesday is going
Just
well.
under 2. Just finished, not impressed, but I'm gonna have dinner and come back. Alright, I had dinner with my housemate. We watched an episode of Gogglebox. And here are my thoughts on the fucking long walk. I think this may be my lowest ever rating of a book. There's some great things about this book. Okay, let's think. It did keep me on the edge of my seat, okay? It did keep me wondering what was going to happen. Partly, I think, because a lot of things weren't fully explained. I don't know when this is meant to be set. Maybe it was set in the beginning. I can't see, and I don't want to flip through. But yeah, I don't think it does say the year it's set. Because for me, this gave me like dystopian vibes. The way they were talking about their world and about what they were participating in. Gave me like Hunger Game vibes about the whole thing. To do like a mini review in the reading vlog, basically the plot is there is a event every year called the Long Walk. 100 people, I think it's just men only, can participate voluntarily. They sign up, they have to go through a series of tests and, you know, questions and all this shit. Anyway, they participate in the long walk, and they basically walk until there's only one man standing, and everyone gets 3 strikes. If you get 3 strikes, you're out and you get shot, literally shot on the road. So that's kind of explained throughout the book. It's quite ambiguous throughout the majority of the book. Like I said, you don't really know when it's set. I'm assuming it's dystopia because, like, of how they're talking about, like, the government and, like, how certain people, like his dad, the main character's dad, gets, like, taken away from by the government, but it's kind of a bit, you know, vague about how, and it just seems like it's very totalitarian, in my opinion. Which to me, like, I think this book would be way better if it was an involuntary thing. I think, for me, the problem I had with this book was, like, at least in the Hunger Games, they don't have a choice. They're just obviously doing it because they unfortunately got their name pulled out, and then they have no choice, otherwise they die anyway, you know what I mean? Whereas this, they all volunteered, and I think that was a great part of the book, a lot of them realizing, why the fuck have I signed up for this? And kind of about life and death and, you know, all that. I will say towards the end, maybe I should give it a 3, I don't know. Towards the end, I did like it a lot better. The last 2 or 3 chapters, they were quite moving, because by the end, they've been walking for like 5 days, they're all friends, and they're all dying. So it is quite sad at the end. It's just not a spoiler, because, like, literally that's what the event is. But yeah, I'll admit the ending really let me down. I did not like the ending at all. In some ways, I kind of, without spoiling it, I kind of like, I don't know how I can say it without spoiling it. In some ways, it's kind of a little bit of like a, to the whole system, but then also I was kind of like, yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I just think, for me, I really struggled with the last, like, I only had 90 pages to read today. And yeah, I started reading at like 3. But it took me like 3 hours. Admittedly, I was doing other things when we were talking to people. But, like, it just, yeah, I struggled a bit. And it was quite repetitive, you know. A lot of it was just them talking to each other on the road. And you learn about the characters and stuff. Which was good. Again, it's all about life and death. But, yeah. I think compared to it, I would, yeah, I rated it 5. And this is like a 2 for me. This is a 2 out of 5. I just really struggled to finish it, and yeah, I think it was a good tone for the spooky reads. I think it was quite dark and macabre, and like some guy literally, like I said before, walked around with his guts hanging out, and, like, you know, I just think, yeah, after all that, I was like, that's the ending. And I hate things when things aren't explained fully. Like, don't get me wrong, I hate it, like in some books like Harry Potter, she kind of explained in the first chapter everything again. That annoys me. Like, we know, we've read the fucking books. Don't explain it again at the beginning. Do you know what I mean? But, like, this, I felt like it somewhat needed some sort of, like, you know, give me the world, give me, like, what's going on in the world. It's only one standalone book, you know, I need to know what's happening. So yeah. Overall, I'm glad I read it. It took me, what, a few days? But I think, yeah, what I'm going to do now, I was tossing up between Carry On, which was a spooky read, and Serpent and Dove. But Michaela, who I'm reading this with, wants to do the buddy read now. I think if I have a chance, I will try and circle back to this by the end of October. And read it for Halloween. If not, I'm just going to read it anyway at some point. But I'll keep you posted. So this may be the end of the reading vlog if I don't continue on. But overall, yeah, I read The Paper Girls, I read The Year of the Witching, and I read The Long Walk, if this is the end. And yeah, The Year of the Witching is probably my favourite. That one, what did I give that? 3.5. I think I'm probably rating them lower as well because it's not my usual realm. And I can kind of, like, you know, that's to be expected, I guess. So probably the more I read in that area and the more I push myself out of what I normally read, I'll probably rate them higher maybe. But yeah, Year of the Witching was definitely my favourite. That was creepy in a whole different way. But yeah. this was my Spooky Reads reading vlog. I'm going to try and do shorter ones. This one, I know, like, now that I'm having to go and edit this in a minute, or like in the next few days, it's quite a lot of material for a whole month. I probably will only do single books and or single book series in the future, and probably do it per book because it's just a lot of footage to try and put together. But yeah. If you have any other spooky suggestions that you think I might like, I don't know why I did that. If you think I might like, let me know. And yeah, I'm excited to try this again next year and to probably try and read a bit more like that in general. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.